All right.
All right. So this is your first convention ever. So this is your first convention Q&A ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah. You didn't even know what a comic convention was. You were saying.
I didn't. I mean, I was born in Denmark, and it's not the culture over there. It's not as big. So yeah. So this is like overwhelming and wild and fun and crazy and.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, so you got to obviously see a lot of cool things at your table, a lot of people coming by in costumes and stuff. You've never seen anything like that?
No. I've never, I mean, they're really good, some of these costumes. I mean, people are really committed and amazing people, nice, fun, just a great energy. I'm into it. I'm coming back.
Good. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And Morgan, you've done a ton of these.
Yeah.
But I just have to know, this weekend alone, we're talking about things at your table, seeing guests walk by. What is your favorite costume that you've seen walk by?
Okay, well, so I love Voltron. So anytime I see a cosplayer right back there. Hello, very nice. Anytime I see a Voltron cosplay, I freak out just because I love it so much. So yeah, those are my favorite.
Same question. Have you?
I've seen a couple of Mr. Satans this weekend. Yeah, so. I don't get a lot of those, to be honest. They're far more rare occurrence than you might think.
You have the hair. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be willing to at least tape some hair on your face, or grow your own, Hercule stash, as it were, or your own afro for that matter. You got to really have the really fluff of the white man's afro, as it were.
Yeah, it's not easy. And you are also taking part in FSCW last night and tonight.
I think we're going to try to swing by. I think I have a panel soon after that, but we'll try to come in and holler at some of the wrestling fans and do that. But we've been wrestling fans, Josh and myself, for quite some time. So to come out and be a part of it. When we first got introduced with you guys, your champion at the time was Mr. Satan. I think he was fighting Skeletor for the title. And so we were able to get involved, and we've had fun with that ever since, and been trying to stay involved as much as we can. So, and you guys are great. You guys were great yesterday.
Oh,
well.
Thank you very much. It's a lot of fun in these fans out here, especially Louisville, right? Louisville?
Yeah.
Don't say it wrong.
Louisville. They had a thing outside, like all the different ways to say it and stuff like that. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to say them all. Right? I say it all kinds of ways.
I think that's the easiest way to say it, right?
Yeah. Because in the Dallas area, we have a place called Louisville. But it's Lewis. It literally is Louisville, right? So sometimes, it's called Louisville, right? Y'all hate that too. They already hate it. Yeah. It is not Louisville. It's Louisville.
They get really mad.
Louisville.
Sabbath said Louisville yesterday, and I thought they were going to riot.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's Chris Sabat. He can say whatever he wants.
He can get away with it, right?
He can say whatever he wants.
He's like the only one back there that can get away with it.
Yeah. He's like the 800-pound gorilla in the room. He can sit wherever he wants. No.
So I do have to ask, how did you first get involved in voice acting, especially for video games? I mean, it's different than anime. So, how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, for the lack of a better term, I really never cared for the term voice acting. I mean, for me, acting's acting, whether you're in front of a microphone, on stage, and on a camera, in front of a camera. It's all really the same, or you use the same tools. You maybe use them slightly in different ways based on the medium you were in. But my first involvement with voice acting was my friends and I, Josh Martin, and who plays Majin Buu, and then the guy who plays Master Roshi, Mike McFarland. We were all in a comedy troupe back in our 20s. Just a couple years ago. And it was. And so Mike comes in one day, he's like, hey, I booked a part out in Fort Worth, Texas. They really need some actors for cartoon voices. And I'm like, they booked you? You got a gig? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you can do it. I know I can do it. I've heard your voices, Mike. Anyway, no. So I went out and auditioned, and I got the part of Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball, and that was my first experience there. And who knew that it would be this show?
That's a heck of a first
gig.
Right,
my very first gig in voice acting was Dragon Ball Z, 20 years ago.
Wow, where do you go? Like, where do you go from there? Like,
I don't know. Maybe I can be Darth Vader next.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I find your lack of cheer disturbing. Something, I don't know. Right? Thank you. Not that I wish anything ill to happen to James Earl Jones. Let's hope he lives forever. But in the eventuality, I would be happy to take that part.
Morgan, how did you get started?
I've been acting for 17 years now, and it started on stage. I was heavily involved in my school's theater department, and even outside of school, I was in a performing arts program. So I was always performing all the time because it's my love. So I love acting, I love singing. And I got into voiceover because I won a contest. Todd Habercorn. Does anyone know who that is? Todd? Yeah. He was hosting this voice acting competition at a convention called HaberCon. Because Haber, he adds Haber to everything.
That's not obnoxious at all.
So at HaberCon, I competed in this competition, and I won. And the prize, if you won the competition, was an audition at Funimation. And so that's how I got in at Funimation, and then after that, I kept booking at other studios, and now here I am.
Boom.
Boom.
And Nina, not only do you've done voice acting, but you are also a model for, is it Call of Duty?
Yeah, Black Ops 4.
Yeah, Black Ops 4. Like, your face and body is on the cover art, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was an actor too. I started in acting too, and then I got like sucked into it. Like I remember going to my Christmas parties at my agency, and they would have all these voiceover guys and women like going crazy, and I was like, yeah, it's not for me, it's not for me, it's not for me, I'll never do it. But then when I started doing all these action movies, and then they started hiring me to do these video games, they wanted my likeness, then I kind of got sucked into it. I never wanted to, and then because I have an accent too, they were like, well, you could do a Danish accent, you can do Russian, you can do French, you can do, and then I just started doing it, and then I was like, this is amazing. No hair, no makeup, you show up raw in my slippers, and I just get to do my thing, and I loved it, and I love the people. It's a different kind of world.
Yes, it is.
Yes, right?
The community is so
Yeah, it's
supportive.
so supportive.
Yes, and I
Like,
love
people,
that.
Yeah, like in my straight acting world, not so much.
Yeah, on camera is
yeah,
vicious.
yeah, it's
Brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really
yes,
is,
you said
yeah.
it. Where in the voiceover community is just so supportive. As I said, I didn't want to. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I have what it, I didn't know it. So yeah, I got sucked into it, and now I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, we welcome you.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
And again, it is so the atmosphere, the conventions, everyone's so supportive, but I know it's super tough work. What is the toughest part about voice acting?
Okay, so I have a few stories.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
All right.
Sometimes the director will be like, they won't tell you this ahead of time, but you need to do an accent for the role. And this has happened a few times for me. I got cast in a video game that I can't talk about yet, but I know, right? But I'm not telling you what it is, so it's okay. I'm not breaking NDA.
Can I tell them?
No, you don't know.
How do you know I don't know?
He doesn't
Because I
have
didn't
an-
tell you.
I know. Doesn't mean I don't know. I know things. People tell me stuff.
She's so nervous right now that you're gonna...
I'm a little.
I
don't remember
don't
telling
know.
anyone.
I don't know.
But I auditioned for the game, but I didn't. When I came in to record for it, I booked a character that I didn't audition for, and so I had no idea what I was getting into. And I get there, and they say, "Hey, so you're gonna voice for this character, and you're gonna need a Louisiana accent. Can you do that?" And I was like, well, I can't lie and say yes, but I also don't want to say no because I don't want to lose this role. This is a big gig. And so I was like, I can try. That was my answer. And so I got in the booth and I was like, well, I'm from Texas, so what about what about a Texan accent? And they were like, huh. Oh yeah, let's try it. Yeah, let's see if it works. And so I did that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we love it. Let's keep that." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." Oh,
Well, the South's kind of the South like that. Unless they wanted like you to do like a Cajun, like, ooh,
Yeah.
golly, I guarantee,
yeah,
something
but I
like that.
can't do that. I had
No.
never worked on that before ever, and so I was like, I don't want to mess that up. And so thankfully they let me do my Texan accent. But there a lot of the times you'll get in the booth and they will just throw something at you, and hopefully you can do it. When I auditioned for Marvel Avengers Academy. For Silver Sable, she needed a Russian dialect or a Slavic dialect, and I kind of threw something together. I didn't expect to book it, and so I auditioned, and then I booked it, and I was like, oh crap. Well, I guess I need to study on
Polish
this.
up on that.
Yeah, but they needed the lines within 2 days.
You just watch a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle and steal
No.
Natasha's line?
Yes.
I went
Yes, Natasha.
yeah. No, I went
That's a great
online.
idea.
I downloaded like 300 audio files of the Slavic dialect, and I studied them those 2 days. And then I recorded all my lines, sent them in, and they were like perfect. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. So it worked out. But yeah, sometimes you'll get in the booth and you'll need to know a dialect, and they won't tell you, they won't give you a heads up or anything. So
If I'm doing
that
Russian, I
happens.
just always go like Dolph Lundgren in the Rocky movie, playing, he's like, I must break you, and then that's it. Then you're there. I must break you. Boom, Russian, you're done. It's over. Oh, was
Yes,
there more to that question?
yes,
Yeah. Like what's the hardest part about all this?
Hardest part.
Oh, thinking of stuff to say. No. I think, I do a lot of characters who are very loud and screamy a lot of the times. And so sometimes it's really just about knowing your voice and how far you can go and how long you can go. If you're in the middle of the session and your voice starts cracking, end it right there. That's what at least the directors kind of know to do that these days. Back in the earlier days, they didn't care so much, but now they want to help preserve our voices, which is good.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but you still got to have a good idea of what your voice can do and how far you can go and how long you can go. Also, with accents too.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's one thing to kind of know certain terms or phrases in a certain accent, but then sometimes you come across like words and phrases you have never said in that accent before, and that creates a whole new ball game of mishaps and stuff like that. So, accents are tough. Stay away from them unless you can nail it.
Yeah. You don't want to offend anyone with
Right.
a bad accent.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Exactly. So, and then, even within accents, there are different dialects within those accents and
Yes.
regions of areas of Russia and Ukraine and
The
everywhere
UK.
else, even in the UK, you walk 20 minutes through the UK, you hear 15 different accents, man.
Yeah.
And so, pick one.
Yeah.
Y'all pick one, y'all just keep that accent. But, it changes. So, you got to have an ear. Anybody play a musical instrument out there, right? That's a good tool to have, because as you understand tonation and intonation and what's on key and what's not on key, same thing goes with voices. They have an intonation to them. They have a distinct sound, and being able to mimic that sound just as you would with the instrument is, this is the instrument. So.
Nina, what do you think? What's the toughest part for you?
For me, it's the accent too. I mean, because I'm European, they're like, well, do it in German. No, do it in like East Germany, like an East German accent, in the booth, and then do it in French. You're European. Now do it in, they just keep going down the list. So for me, that has been a little rough. And in the beginning, I was like, no. And then now I'm at a point where I just do it. And it has been working out. And for me, because I sing in a rock band, so a lot of scream, angry Marines, yelling and screaming. So I do my warm-ups. If I don't do my warm-ups, I'm screwed. Like, I have to, because I go in there and I'll last an hour, and then I start feeling it, and it starts crackling. And so I have to do my warm-up. I do the same warm-up as, if any of you guys sing, it's good to do your warm-ups before I think you go in the booth. I don't know.
Well, definitely, you don't want to do them after. That's kind of.
I have cool downs,
That's true. That's true.
Along the same lines as accents and dialects, have you ever had to, have they ever given you lines that are in another language that they wanted you to do?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes. They decided on the spot that they wanted, I don't know if I can talk about it. I did this movie that's out, and now I did the video game, so I didn't say anything. So I did the video game voice, and they decided to make her French. And I was like, I speak fluent Danish. My dad is Russian. I can speak Russian. I can do but they want it in French. So I had to do these lines in French, which was really scary
French
for me.
is tough too, man.
Yeah. So that
The French, they don't like it when people speak their language. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
Very snobby. the French.
very snobby. Yeah, so that was a rough one.
I got some more questions, but I know you guys have a ton of questions too. So again, there's a microphone. Don't be afraid to be first. That way your question is not stolen, because that happens a lot around here. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
all right.
there you go.
Very good. How you doing?
Come on down.
So I don't want to. I don't want you to lose your jobs or anything. But so
We don't either.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
did Randy Pitchford's thing during all of that Gearbox stuff make your voice acting job stuff harder?
Randy Pitchford thing.
With all his controversy and all that, when you were doing Borderlands talk, did that like trickle down to any of your voice acting stuff, or?
No,
No.
Okay.
I haven't even heard of it.
I don't even know what you're talking.
I don't either. Sorry.
That's. I know that Randy Pitchford had some guy like embezzle some money from him. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Kind of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that didn't have anything to do with Gearbox. That was his own personal finances.
Yeah.
But I did hear about that. Yeah.
I just didn't
And
know.
hey, sucks for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
his
didn't
mistake.
affect us at all.
Cool. Cool.
So.
That's all. Thanks.
But Randy's a cool guy. He's a nice guy. He's fun to meet and talk
thanks.
to.
Hello.
Oh.
So I was wondering, for video games, when you would get an audition for a role, are those sent by the actual developer, or are those like a studio hired by the developer that specifically handles recording?
I would say the developer in those cases. These days we do a lot of at-home auditions. Where you recording something from your own home studio or whatever your setup may be. Back in the early, not even that many years ago, when we still went into audition, I would very much say, the producers of the game or the anime or whatever it may have been were, the ones making out the side. So you'd have a picture of the character, a description of that character, and lines they wanted you to say. And that came directly from like places like Gearbox and things like that if we were auditioning for Borderlands. So, ladies,
That was
any
good.
addition to that?
Yeah, I thought, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'll go in the agency and they have if I have a lot of dialogue, I won't do it at home. I like to actually go into the agency and do
Yes.
it there.
Yeah, I like to do that too. Like if it's a big chunky meaty
Yeah.
thing, I'd be like, hey, can I stop by the studio? And
Yeah.
I need about 30 minutes on this before.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just nice to have someone guide you through,
Yes.
just give you a little bit of feedback so you're not.
Yeah, I hate at-home auditions. So
Me
much that
too.
I will find any way I can to get in and around other actors to do my audition, just so I have some kind of person to bounce it off of or some kind of audience. Somebody needs to react to the thing I'm doing, or I don't know if it's good or not. Like me, I'm just, I'll think I'm great all day long, but I need the real. I need somebody.
I need to get some of your.
like, or just like somebody, Chris, hey, you know what? I like that, but hey, you remember that thing you did and this one other thing? Maybe try something like that. And so people are giving you ideas of stuff that you did a long time ago you don't even remember. And like, yeah, I like that would fit for this. Let's try that. So, having ideas bounce around is way better than sitting at home going, I'm gonna do this really good. I'm really good at this. Oh shit, I did this like 20 times now. Which one was the best? I don't even know. This one, I'll send that one. That's
Thank
usually how
you.
it goes.
Thank you. Hello.
Guys,
Hello.
so I actually do get sometimes compliments on my own voice.
Yes.
But unfortunately, I was going to ask, how do you feel in regards to the competition there is regarding voice acting?
I mean, there's a fair amount of competition in there, but it often kind of goes by voice type, and voice range. Like my only competition are people like Chris Sabat and stuff who aren't that talented, really. And I'm teasing. I'm joking.
Stop.
I'm joking. Actually, no, that truly is like he's like my nemesis in the world of auditioning and the voice acting. It's like, oh, did Sabat audition for this? Damn it, man, I'm out. Son of a gun. They're gonna give it to Sabat. No. But it's about understanding what range you sort of fit in and knowing those players and knowing who your competition is in that regard and just trying to bring something a little different, some your own little flavor, little salt and pepper that you bring that no one else brings, and just finding out what that is, And it's about taking some risks and playing with the dialogue that's given to you and maybe finding little places to add in a little flavor or a little scoff, a laugh, saying a line, with some sort of other inflection that may not be written on the page.
Okay. Well, the reason I was asking is because I noticed that with my voice and yours tends to be a little more deeper. If I go any
Yes.
higher, it's no-go.
Right, me too. Right.
Okay.
That's why Mr. Satan sounds so funny when he gets all freaked out because it's all cracky and weird stuff. So you're like, that kind of thing. But yeah,
Well, I appreciate it.
my pleasure. Thank you.
That's not moving down. Okay. So I've been doing voice acting stuff casually on YouTube for about 2 years, and I kind of want to get into more professional stuff. But how are you just in the right place at the right time?
Location matters. You have to live where the work is. And there's a lot of studios in Texas. I highly recommend starting in Texas before going to LA.
Where do you live now? Here?
Yeah, here.
You have to move.
Yep. You really do, though. You really do.
Do you have an extra room?
I don't.
Okay, sorry.
I don't.
The
I
three
tried.
hubs, I'd say,
But,
for voiceover are Texas, LA, and New York.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of options in Texas, Funimation, Gearbox, Sentai Filmworks, Sound Cadence, Okatron, and then, of course, you have LA, which is Cartoon Network, DreamWorks, Disney, Nickelodeon, and all those big companies.
The real money in the voiceover game is commercials.
Yes.
That's where the real money is made. That's where you buy houses and cars and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
Get out of debt.
And Dallas is one of the largest markets for commercial voiceover as well. So if you're looking to do more than just anime and video games and
You're gonna have to
whatever
do
else,
more than anime.
yes, no, you're absolutely going to have to. You can't pay your bills
Yeah.
unless you have another job, which a lot of people do, or do direct or write or do other things. So you can't just be an anime voice actor because there's not enough hours in the day and enough parts that you can play and to be able to make the money that you would need.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and find an agent.
Yes.
You start with finding an agent, and then you get the auditions.
Right.
And then get the jobs, hopefully.
But I tell you, even in Dallas, because anime is so big there, a lot of the agents don't like to touch it because they're not really making that much off of it, right? So it's sort of a thing that a lot of actors just do on their own on the side, and their agent sends them on commercial and more, video games and things like that. So
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Is the key to just audition for everything?
Yeah,
Even if you're not confident in it, I say do it because I've booked a few roles that I didn't think I was going to book, but I auditioned anyway, and it paid off. So yeah.
right? I mean, I wouldn't say. I want people. I tell my students. I teach workshops in Dallas as well, and I try to tell my students. I want you to take risks, but I want you to take risks within your range.
Yeah.
Don't go into something too deep or low, or too high and crazy. That's not your range in there, and then take risks because that's going to be all kinds of mess. But find the range and the types of characters you're comfortable with, and be willing to take some risks in there. Find the ups and downs. Find the emotional adjustments that take place even in little lines that you think maybe not a lot's there. Does that
Hello.
make sense?
Hi. For when you do voice acting in the video games, what is your favorite video game character that you have voiced for?
I don't know, ladies.
Well, I really liked being in Borderlands 3. That was cool.
Right.
And because I love working with Joel. He's a great director, and Nereid was a really cool character, and it's a cool game. So that's my answer.
Outside of all the Dragon Ball games for myself, I think Borderlands coming along gave me something different to do, even though he's still kind of in that range. But again, taking risks within the world you're comfortable with. Mr. Torg is a hell of a lot of fun to play. Slightly therapeutic. I usually walk out with a good sweat and a slight temple throb that takes place, but it's satisfying, So.
Yeah, and for me, it's definitely the new one that I just did. I did a movie, and then they did a video game, and they had me play because she does all these different accents, so I get to play all these different. She puts on all these different characters, so that was really fun for me. I mean, it's the same character, but she uses her
So like a
different dialects.
spy espionage kind of
How
stuff?
did you know?
Huh?
Yeah.
He said he
Yes,
likes it.
lucky guess.
I'm a nerd and I play lots of video games and watch lots of movies.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.
I know.
That's cool.
Thank you.
All right. So I hope I'm wording this right, but what do you recommend kind of keeping your voice in shape so that, you don't get winded after half an hour or something like that?
Stay hydrated. Drink lots of water, and of course, do warm-ups before you go into the booth. Manuka honey is another thing. There's these really good Manuka honey drops, and they're good to coat your throat. And there's Throat Coat, which is a tea that you can drink before getting in the booth. And yeah, there's a lot of little remedies that you can take, and it helps protect your vocal cords.
Usually have a cigarette and a shot of whiskey. before I go into the booth.
That works too,
Really
I
help
guess.
No, don't do that at all. And I don't do that.
I don't smoke or drink, so I'm out.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, it is about kind of knowing your voice and knowing, what it can do and what it can't do. And, what was the question exactly, though? What was it?
How to take care of your voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just, figure that out along the way. Don't stress it out. When it starts cracking, stop.
Just basically
Yeah.
how to build up.
If you're starting to lose your voice, stop talking immediately. Don't even whisper. Whisper is way worse than talking.
Yeah.
And
And I think don't drink cold stuff. You want to keep your vocal cords warm. Like I
Yeah.
Stay ahead
hate
of-
being in a vocal booth with a air conditioning cranked. I always ask to
It
turn it off.
constricts.
Yeah, it does. So warm, room
Yeah.
temperature water.
bottle of water,
Don't-
room temperature
Yeah,
water.
room
for
temperature.
sure.
Thank you so much.
Cold bad. Don't drink milk either. Milk is
Yeah,
bad.
No milk or
dairy.
chocolate.
Dairy is bad.
Very, very
Yeah,
bad.
it
It's
makes
bad.
Right.
Gets
bad,
all phlegmy.
Weird
Yeah, it
things,
goes all
Gross.
phlegmy
weird
and-
things
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you hear the smacking.
Sometimes literally.
Yes. Your mouth starts drying out.
The mouth
Yeah,
clicks.
yeah,
Yeah, it sounds
It's
disgusting.
like a
and weird
spider web in
stuff
your
and-
mouth.
Yeah.
Yep.
How are you guys?
Oh, hey, what's up?
How's it going?
How are you doing?
Not too bad. How you
Right on. No, you
Oh,
cannot
they're
take
giving
my
each
job.
other the eyes. Oh,
Right.
how you doing?
I'm just making sure this guy will
Come
never
on down
work in
here.
this industry.
Yeah.
No, fine.
Speaking of competition,
So I do Twitch and YouTube full time, and I wanted to ask you guys: do you think it would be smart to have a portfolio trying to go into voice acting at all?
Yeah, a portfolio like a resume?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you need
Okay.
an acting resume. Yes.
What would be the best avenue to take getting into voice acting? Because it's something I'm seriously considering.
I say start with theater. There's so many opportunities depending on where you live. Like Chicago has a lot of opportunities, and Dallas, like the theater scene is huge. And voice acting is acting. So definitely like any acting experience you can get a hold of, add that to your resume, bruh.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could come take my workshop in Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah, workshops.
Hey, move to Dallas, where
Charlotte.
where a lot of the
Yeah,
voiceover work
come to
is, and take his class.
Miss Morgan Berry took my workshop 3
I
years
did.
ago.
That's how I got cast in One Piece, actually.
Boom.
Yeah.
Do you by any chance have a card?
No, you can follow me on Twitter and follow me on Facebook, and I make those announcements there.
Awesome.
And keep people updated with those. So
What's your Twitter handle?
my Twitter is at my last name at Rager Coaster, Rager Coaster, like roller coaster, because I'm clever like that,
Yeah, I can see that.
right? You
Yeah.
see what I did
Yeah.
there,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, we'll get a follow from White Shadow here in a little
Nice,
bit.
all right.
I'll definitely
Right
check
on.
that out.
Please do.
I'm on Twitter too.
Hey, I'd like to follow both of you.
Follow us all on
Yeah.
Twitter.
At the Morgan Berry.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Pleasure. Thank you.
hello.
Hi.
Hi. Don't be afraid. It doesn't bite.
No, I have a very loud voice, so.
Okay, cool.
All right. Don't be afraid of it. Let it rip. Let's hear it. Let's go.
So my question is, what is the favorite voice that you got to do, regardless of whether it was in a video game or an anime or cartoon? Your favorite voice that you actually got to produce?
And I got paid for?
Yeah.
Paid for, fun, haha, friends and family, doesn't matter.
Have you ever seen a show called Love Live Sunshine?
No, I have not.
It's a cute one.
We need to get on that.
Yes, that one. That's my answer. Yeah.
Well, my camera's
Nina?
on live, so I'm
Nina.
I'm streaming for my fans for Cosplay Butterfly channel.
Right on.
So I'll definitely get that on there.
Please do.
Yeah, mine is a comic book character called Dead Speed. Yeah, she's pretty badass. Yeah, I want to be her.
I was on a voiceover panel the other day with John DiMaggio from, where you were there, weren't you?
Yes, yes.
You were there. Oh my God, was
Minneapolis,
he?
yes.
Oh
It's
my
already
God.
on the YouTubes.
Oh,
by the
is
way.
it? Oh my
Yes.
God, it's hilarious. So, I've been working. John DiMaggio does the most wonderful Tracy Morgan impersonation that I've ever heard. And I was talking about being Darth Vader and wanting to be Darth Vader, and he's like, "How would you play it?" I'm like, "Oh, I play it, pretty straightforward. James Earl Jones, true to the character and everything like that." He's like, "I'd probably trade like Tracy Morgan." He'd be like, "Man, Boba Fett's my uncle, man." And he's like, "That's for real. That's for real." So I really, right now, my new favorite voice is trying to perfect Tracy Morgan or John DiMaggio doing Tracy Morgan. That's my newest favorite thing to do, because I literally walk around just saying, "Boba Fett's my uncle, man. That's for real. That's for real. That happened. My lightsabers, man. Lightsabers." Anyway, sorry. That is, I love it. Oh, and I love Baby Yoda. I need more Baby Yoda. Please give me more
No spoilers. I haven't
Baby
seen
Yoda.
yet.
I won't spoil it for you other than Baby Yoda is so cute and I have to have one.
I've seen the pictures online. They're like
Oh,
circulating.
he's already on my phone. I've already got Baby Yoda on my phone.
But it looks like you.
Does it?
A little
Yes.
bit. The eyes.
So cute.
Yeah, and the ears a little bit, maybe. I think. But oh my God, I love it too much. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've got Darth Vader tattooed on my arm. I have a Vader fetish. I love Darth Vader. And then Baby Yoda came along, and I'm like, why is it so cute? Anyway, so I'm okay. I have Baby Yoda.
Yes.
I'm gonna have it tattooed on my chest so I can like carry him around. Like little Baby Yoda. And I can pet him.
Can I just tell them what you
Just
did
there.
right before we went on stage?
Yes.
So he was trying to get in the mood. So he pulled out his phone and then he looked at Baby
Yes.
Yoda and he
It
was
made
like,
me happy.
"Oh, he's like, no, I'm happy. I'm ready now."
He's right there. Anyway.
That's cute.
I need it so badly. Any merch that comes out, I will own that. All right, sorry, I got off track.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So I know everyone's talking about the voiceover work you've done for video games and stuff, but what's your favorite voiceover that you've done for animes?
Well,
Ladies?
I mean, there's just so many. Well, I got cast as NK Cell in Cells at Work. And that was she's so cool. And she's super hot. So I was really glad when I got cast as her. Right? I'm like, oh my goodness. Ooh, she can stab me any day. You know,
hi.
a hot chick with a sword, you know? It's pretty badass.
That's literally what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes. What was the question?
What's your favorite anime voiceover you've done?
Mr. Satan's obviously, he was my first. He's kind of near and dear to my heart, but I always kind of like the ones, like the most current ones that I'm doing now. And I'm really liking this Indo character from SCIU. What is that?
I don't know.
The Jerry Show. I just call it, it's like fairies and dwarves in this world of like espionage and sniper. I'm a sniper named Indo. I'm a dwarf. I was married to an elf. Yeah, we have a daughter. Anyway, long story. So I'm really kind of liking that story kind of playing out. So sometimes it's the one like I'm currently working on. So SCIU, it's on Funimation now. Check it out. $6 a month. And that's my commercial.
Yeah, I didn't really do any. I did music for them. I'm a musician too, so they would hire me to write the music.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't do the voice. Again, when you have somewhat of an accent, they're particular with what they want.
So what's your favorite music you've done, like music for the anime?
For the anime, I did one with Yoshiki from Japan. I don't know if you know who that is. It's a very famous Japanese, and they made a character that's based after him called Yoshiki. So it's basically the whole anime is about him. And they made like a Hello Kitty doll after him that's in there. I didn't get to play that one, but I play one of the characters in there, and he wrote the music. So if you haven't, check him out if you're into anime. Yoshiki from Japan. They do a lot of really cool stuff with characters and music.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I just wanted a quick question of what's one of your lines that you've said that's had you busted up laughing that you couldn't get through a session
I have
or
one.
had trouble getting through a session because the line was that funny?
Okay, so there's this show I played the lead in called Eld Live, and I voiced for Chuta, and he's a middle school boy, and it's a really quirky, weird anime. But if you guys have seen Hitman Reborn, anyone? It's from the same creator, and so it's in the same universe. And Chuta, he has this alien in his chest. Now that sounds gross, but it's adorable. And it's an adorable alien. It's just like,
Sounds
zoop,
like
he
Total
kind of
Recall.
fades out like a ghost kind of. and this poor middle school boy, he's in a hospital bed. He looks down and he says, "When I look down That was the line.
Nice.
Because when he looks down, he just sees an alien, and he's like, "No, thank you. I don't want that in my life."
I can't wait. I just want to be a normal boy.
Yeah, a normal boy with no aliens. But yeah, it's Eld Live. You should check it out. It's a cute show.
What's the question exactly? Sorry, Baby Yoda.
Bust out laughing line that you've had in a video game and in your work.
In a video game, one of my favorite lines was a line that actually wasn't the real line, but I thought it was, and it made me laugh every time I heard it. And the real line is in Borderlands, Mr. Torg with the vending machine stuff. He pumps out a gun and he says, "Now go punch a bad guy in the dick." But I thought he said, "Now go punch a fat guy in the dick." And I just would laugh, and then Anthony Birch, who wrote the game, was like, "That's not what you say. You say bad guy." I'm like, "Hey, man, I know you're a good writer, but mine's funnier. We're going to go with fat guy in the dick." Anyway, so sorry.
That's so much better. Now I wish that was in the game.
Right? Well, just pretend that you hear it when he says it, because it sounds like he's saying fat guy, and that's what I thought. So just, in your head, let it be fat guy instead of bad guy.
I want to know what this looks like on the closed caption and what that line set looks like on the, because we have closed.
Don't turn on the closed caption. Oh, right. Oh, you have the... Turn off the closed caption. This is not going to go well for you.
Wait, live captioning?
Right.
Yes.
Cool.
Right? I think someone says I said something about anime the other day, and it came up inmates. I was like, I've been in lots of inmates lately. I'm like,
Fun.
someone needs to... Can we correct that? No.
Oh, when she said extra pan, it came up extra pan.
Huh,
Extra
nice.
pan. I was like, oh, that's
Hey, look, it's not a perfect science just yet. They'll have it figured out soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Hello.
So what's been like the craziest or weirdest request somebody's had for you for voice acting?
Like while you're in the booth, or just like being at a table where some guy actually asked me to like sign his prosthetic leg once.
That sounds cool.
That was cool. He just put it up there. I'm like, "What's up?
Nice.
Will you sign my leg?" Hell yeah.
I think the coolest thing I ever signed was a car. That
A
was
car?
Yeah.
Like a whole car?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the cutest thing I ever signed was a baby.
An actual
They
baby?
set their baby on the table and like, "Sign my baby," and I'm like, "Okay," but I signed the shirt. I made sure not to put Sharpie on.
I'd
the
just be
skin.
like right on that big baby forehead, just Chris Rager.
Dangerous.
Right? It'll be all right. He'll believe. Babies are strong. They're tough.
I've signed Harleys.
Whoa.
Yeah, Harleys. Yeah,
You
for
are
some
cooler
reason.
than me.
Yeah, and I ride, and then I've for some reason signed a lot of big sweaty bellies.
Huh.
Yeah, people will come up. I've signed boobs.
Yeah?
Yeah, because remember I'm in a rock band too.
Yes,
So after
okay,
the show,
sure.
a
Will
lot
you sign
of
my belly?
The
Yeah,
least
I
they
have
could
a-
do is wipe it off before you sign it.
Right?
Oh no, it's right after the show. It's nice and sweaty. Yeah, so you have to kind of like with the marker
You
5
really got to
times.
get that
It-
Sharpie
yeah,
in
it probably
there.
didn't go on very well because of the sweat.
Yeah, I've done. I've signed a lot of things.
Yeah, body parts have been less these days. The times have changed. And if you're far, I mean, I signed a fair amount of boobs and butts in the day. And
What
that's not a
happened?
that's not a request I get anymore.
They've
People don't-
exchanged those
Well,
for Funkos.
Yes,
Right?
the Funko Pops.
Less
yes.
boobs, more Funkos.
And Mr. Satan is finally getting a Funko Pop. Make some noise. That's right. See, they made a wise choice because every single one of you will buy one. And you will bring it to my table. You will buy one and bring it. Anyway, sorry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So, speaking of funny lines in theater, have you ever had any theater or like horror stories in the booth where it seems bad at the moment, but it's funny in retrospect?
I don't know. I've always heard stories of like other people like having issues in the booth. Like Sean Schimmel during some Kamehamehas one day just
Yeah,
went
he
down.
fainted.
Oh,
I do have a story actually.
Yeah, what is that?
Okay, when I was recording for Eld Live, you should check it out. It was being directed by Sonny Strait.
You will buy Eld Live. You will watch
You
it.
will. And I love Sonny. Now, here's what he decided to do to get a few laughs out of me. There's this little sound effect within the show that sounds like a fart. It's not supposed to. It's a little transition sound that plays from scene to scene, but it sounds like a fart. Don't ask me why.
Can you make the noise?
No.
Is it like a or
It's longer. Kind of like that, yeah. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was it. And basically, what he did was he copied and pasted it. That little sound effect, that audio file, and he placed it without me knowing in a scene. So in anime, you'll hear 3 beeps, and then you say your line and go through the scene. So the beeps came in, I was about to say my line, and then that sound came in. And of course, I started laughing because I didn't expect it. And he kept doing it, and there was this one scene in particular.
Did he place it in the beeps? Like it was like.
No, right after the beeps.
Then you guys started talking?
That'd be funny though.
Yeah.
And my character Chuda, he's just a middle school boy. He's walking this way, and his crush is walking the other way, and he just makes the silliest face. He's going this way. He goes. He's just so entranced by her, and she's like the wind is blowing her hair, and that's just the perfect moment to place a fart noise, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
She walks by, and he's like, "Oh my God, what does that smell?" And so it's just perfect. Well, we all laughed a lot. But Nagiros, the sound engineer, he laughed so hard, he goes, ah, and then he fell on the floor. He fainted. He legit passed out on the floor from laughing. And so Sonny's like, all right, Nagiros.
Like, oh my God, we need to call the doctor. Someone call 911.
Nagiros? And then, of course, he came to. He woke up and goes, oh, I heard music. And then Sonny was like, well, yeah, your head hit my ukulele as you went down. So yeah, that's what happened. Yep, it was perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you offer any advice to making your own demo reel or finding a reliable agent?
Do not make your own demo reel.
Yeah.
Hire someone to do that for you.
Yes.
Yes.
There are a lot of great studios around. You know, at the end of the day, an actor, in order to get an agent, needs a commercial demo reel more than anything else. So if you're looking to get an agent, get your headshot, get your resume, your materials together that way with a commercial demo. A character demo can come after you start booking some stuff, and you can create that character demo. But I'll be honest with you, the character demo isn't booking anyone any work. It may get you in the door and get you an audition, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, the most essential tool you need in demo-wise is a commercial demo. The rest of the stuff is mostly booked through auditions and things like that. But your commercial demo could possibly get you more work than that. So
Yeah. A few tips when you're making specifically your animation demo, if you do get one made, because I'd say it's good to maybe at least have one so that you can send it to studios, because there are some studios where you can send your demo in. Yeah. Put your natural voice in the beginning of the reel. Natural voice goes first, and then show off your range. But make sure you don't make a demo without any acting experience, because your demo reel is your calling card. If it sucks, yikes. You could end up, shooting yourself in the foot before it's even in the door. So you don't want to produce a bad demo. So if you're an actor and you have the experience and you can genuinely put out a good demo, then I'd say make it. But it should not exceed 1 minute in length. Keep it a nice 1 minute long demo.
Same for your commercial.
Yep, same.
It's
Nice
about
and
a minute
short.
long.
Yep.
At the end of the day, people listening to these things are only listening about the first 10, 15 seconds anyway before they go, no. Ooh, I like that. We'll put that there. That kind of thing. And that's how fast it's going through. So
Put the best stuff in the
very
beginning.
few of them are getting through the whole minute anyway.
Yeah, and I think find your specialty. So when you do send it out to agents, you will have your own thing. So you're not in the category of like 30 whatever certain
Right.
voices. Like find your thing, and then they'll hopefully take you because they don't have 30 other guys like you.
Well, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you one last question before we wrap up. And that is, so you've done many conventions, this is your first one. Have there been any moments that you're sitting either at your table or you're walking by or you see somebody in the green room that you totally fanboy out about?
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I think was it North Carolina? That was a few months ago, North Carolina. And Anthony Michael Hall was here. And kind of had to go by and see him because when I was a kid, I don't know if y'all have seen, like 16 Candles and all that good stuff. But if you haven't, check those movies out because they're great. And I went by, I'm like, hey man, I just want you to know I really appreciate your work, especially back, those early days. Because when I was a kid, people used to call me Farmer Ted, right? And not in a nice way, right? It's kind of like, hi, you look dorky. You look like Anthony Michael Hall, I had curly hair, freckles, that kind of thing. And so I was just like, so I just want you to know, people used to call me Farmer Ted, and I really, I just always really appreciated your work for that. He took my hand, he shook my hand, he's like, hey man, we made it. I was like, yeah, we did, Anthony Michael Hall. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. Go in the back. You know, and so it was a cool little moment like that. And then the other day, Josh and I, just a couple weeks ago, we're sitting down, we're having lunch, and we look up, and it's John Cusack and William Shatner sitting at the table with us. And you're just like, this is our life now. That is so surreal. Yeah. And then they're like talking to each other about these bracelets this woman had bought by, and I'm just like, huh, this is so cool. So.
Nice. Well, like I said before, I love Voltron. So I went to a Fan Expo Dallas one year. I think it was last year, yeah. And I got to meet Josh Keaton in person. And we had been following each other on Instagram, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I really want to meet him in person. Oh my gosh, because like I love his work, not just Voltron, but like he was, he did on-camera stuff that I watched even growing up, and I'm like, oh man, I love this guy. Like I can't wait to meet him. And we have the same agent. So while I was at the con, my agent was like, hey, you want to meet him? There's like no line right now. You could just walk right up. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. So I walked up, and he looks at me and he goes, you're Morgan Berry. And I was like, Josh Keaton knows who I am? That's cool. And like, I'm such a dork. Like I made this Voltron parody song called Voltron Heroes, and I put it on YouTube. And so he like knew me for that parody song. And then he's like, you're a voice actor too, right? And I was like, I am. Yes, I am. And so that was really cool that he knew who I was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm starstruck right now. Like it was really cool to meet him. He's so nice. And yeah, good guy. Yeah.
Right on.
I mean, to me, this whole experience is surreal. Again, we had lunch, and all these people come in, and you're like, I just saw the Joker, and yeah, there he is. And then sits next to you, and just hi, so Nina, okay, so and I'm like, yeah, just eating lunch, and then I'm gonna go out and do some signings. What's up with you? Yeah, I know what your name is. You don't have to tell me. Yeah, it's like
so cool.
Yeah, it's like cool. So you're trying to play cool. So I think I become over cool. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just eating my salad, and then I'm gonna go out and do some signings. That's what's happening. I'm like, what are you doing, Nina? Chill out. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, it's surreal. That's what it is. It's been surreal.
Awesome.
So far.
I have one more I want to add to that. One time, Will Wheaton had walked up to me and noticed I was wearing a Borderlands shirt, and he's a big nerd. He plays video games and streets things. And he's like, hey, I was almost in that game. He's like, what's your affiliation with it? And I told him I'm Mr. Torg and the Goliath and things like that. And we're having this really cool conversation, and I think that's leading into like him like maybe wanting to invite me to come do a stream with him or something like that. And then my friend, God bless her, Cynthia Kranz, who plays Chi-Chi in Dragon Ball, she sits down at the table and she doesn't really hear the conversation we're having, and she just jumps out with, I loved you and Stand By Me. I thought you were so great in that. I'm all like, what are you doing right now? Like, I'm having a fanboy moment with Will Wheaton. He likes the thing I'm in. And then she's like, oh, I know. And then Big Bang Theory, And I was just like, you're killing this vibe, And so, sure enough, he kind of acknowledges her and says, thank you very much. And, he's like, hey, it was just a real honor to get on that show. And she's like, I know, Big Bang Theory. Like almost like he didn't deserve to be on it. I was just like, Cynthia, you were killing me right now. She would probably hate that I told that story, but whatever.